up guys, just a guy in tech here. It's almost been about 2 years now since Apple released the iPad Pro with a new design and amazing specs. Since 2018, the iPad Pro has been nothing short of amazing. And since then, we have had endless debates about the iPad Pro replacing the laptop or the iPad Pro still not capable enough to replace the laptop. But finally, this magic keyboard lets you use your iPad Pro like a laptop. It comes with a clamshell design and a full-size keyboard and a trackpad. It's easily the best designed keyboard case that I have ever seen for the iPad Pro. Also, it is the most expensive accessory that I ever bought for the iPad Pro. It is $299 for the 11-inch iPad Pro and $349 for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Also, the Magic Keyboard is compatible with the first and the second generation of the 11-inch iPad Pro and the third and the fourth generation of the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I have been using the Magic Keyboard for over a month now and have so much to talk about this Magic Keyboard. I'll be talking about the design, the build quality, the keyboard, the trackpad, and I'll also tell you what I feel about the Magic Keyboard with the iPad Pro replacing the laptop. So let's start this off by talking about the design and the build quality. The Magic Keyboard has a cantilever design which actually makes your iPad Pro float, and it actually does look beautiful. It certainly does feel magical. The magnets in the Magic Keyboard attach to the top half of the iPad Pro, and this way the bottom part of the iPad Pro is not connected to the Magic Keyboard. The magnets are strong and the iPad Pro actually doesn't come off the case. I've literally tried to make it fall and it hasn't. So safety wise, this Magic Keyboard is wonderful. This design also makes detaching the iPad Pro from the Magic Keyboard very easy. All you have to do is just lift it away. This cantilever design also allows you to adjust your viewing angles. You can adjust it from 90 degrees and all the way up to 130 degrees. And let me tell you this, the option to change your viewing angle from 90 to anywhere till 130 degrees is just great. I love to keep changing the angles depending on how I'm using my iPad. But if you're tall and using your iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard on your desk, you would want it to go further than 130 degrees. You don't need Bluetooth to connect the keyboard to the iPad Pro. The power and the data pass-through happens through the Apple Smart Connector. This means you don't need to charge the Magic Keyboard. The connection through the Smart Connector is flawless and there is zero lag. Also, opening the Magic Keyboard requires using both your hands. I have tried doing this with one hand and have realized this is just not possible. The left side of the cylindrical hinge houses a USB-C charging port, which allows pass-through charging to your iPad Pro. Unfortunately, the USB-C port allows only pass-through charging. You can't connect your USB-C hub or any other USB-C connectors to pass data through the USB-C port on the hinge. The pass-through charging certainly doesn't disappoint. It takes 2 hours 45 minutes to charge the iPad Pro from 0 to 100% using the regular iPad Pro charger through the USB-C port on the hinge. If you charge your iPad Pro connecting the cable to the iPad Pro, it takes about 2 hours 35 minutes from 0 to 100%. This is certainly the closest that you can get to having a wireless charging on the iPad Pro. The hinge is strong and certainly makes the iPad Pro stay in its place even when I used it on my lap. The material used to make the Magic Keyboard is the same as that of the Smart Folio keyboard, and I really wish Apple did change that. This material is a fingerprint magnet and gets dirty easily. The Magic Keyboard also has a faint Apple logo on the back, which isn't there on the Smart Folio keyboard case. The Magic Keyboard also provides front and back protection to your iPad Pro. As I mentioned earlier, the hinge is solid, but this does come at a cost. The Magic Keyboard is heavy, like very heavy. In fact, it weighs more than the iPad Pro. The Magic Keyboard for the 11-inch iPad Pro weighs 601 grams and the 11-inch iPad Pro itself weighs 473 grams. I personally don't have a huge problem because whenever I don't want to use the keyboard or the trackpad, I snap it out of the Magic Keyboard. But it sure is a problem for many who just want to toss their iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard into their bag or just carry it with them in their hands. But my main problem with this design is I can't keep the iPad Pro flat on the desk or anywhere with the Magic Keyboard where I want to take notes with my Apple Pencil or if I want to sketch something. All I can do is snap the iPad Pro out of the keyboard case and use it as a normal iPad Pro, or I have to invert the whole Magic Keyboard and use the iPad Pro with the keyboard on the top. It certainly does look funny, but it does work. The Magic Keyboard is a full-sized backlit keyboard that uses the same scissor switch mechanism found on the latest MacBooks. The typing experience is not identical to that on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but it is definitely the best typing experience I ever had on an iPad. All the keys are evenly placed and they also feel good to type on. The keys are backlit and they adjust brightness automatically based on the ambient light in the room. If you want to change the brightness manually, you can do that by going to settings and then selecting the hardware, and then by selecting keyboard and then adjusting the brightness to your liking by moving the slider. Before you ask me why do I have to do all this to adjust the brightness for the keys, that's because there's no function row on the Magic Keyboard, and that really is a bit disappointing. A function row on the keyboard would be wonderful. You could easily change the brightness or the sound, turn off or on your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. But Apple decided to skip that in the Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro. Also, you do not have an escape key on the Magic Keyboard. There's an easy fix for this. You just have to change the function of one of the keys that you're not using on the keyboard to the functionality of the escape key. But I really wish Apple did include the escape key and the function row on such a well-made keyboard. Also, considering the price, they should have included it. Also guys, when your Magic Keyboard is connected to the iPad Pro, the on-screen keyboard doesn't pop up, and the only way to use voice input is by clicking the down-facing arrow at the bottom part of the iPad, and this pops up the on-screen keyboard, and now you can use the microphone to give the voice input. The trackpad is right below the keyboard, and this changes everything for the iPad Pro. You now have complete cursor support for your iPad Pro, and this trackpad is not as big as the ones you have on the MacBooks, and you'll instantly feel it is small, but give it some time and you'll adapt it easily. Also, you can click anywhere on the trackpad to perform the action. It isn't just restricted to the bottom part or the top part. You can use the trackpad gestures that you're used to on the Macs on this particular trackpad. 2-finger swipe to the left or the right lets you move from one home screen to the other. 3-finger swipe to the left or the right moves from one opened application to the other. 2-finger swipe down will open up the search bar. 3-finger swipe down opens the recent application running in the background, and a 3-finger swipe up kills the application. To open the slide over apps for quick access, all you have to do is just move the cursor to the extreme right to open it. I'll attach the link to my another video in the description where I go over all the trackpad gestures for the iPad Pro in detail, so if you want to know more about these gestures, you can go and watch that. Also guys, just a side note, I ordered my iPad Pro as soon as it released, and I did notice that it was draining my battery a lot. But once I reached out to Apple, they sent me a replacement unit, and since then I'm not facing any issue with the battery. So if you're also in the same situation, do let Apple support team know and they'll happily help you out. So, the Magic Keyboard is wonderful. I have been using it every single day since the past 1 month, and I'm super happy with it. But will the Magic Keyboard with your iPad Pro make you replace your laptop? There are two different ways to look at it. If you're someone who uses their iPad Pro as their main workstation and spend hours and hours on it, trust me and go and get that Magic Keyboard. It will totally change your experience with your iPad Pro. Typing notes using the Magic Keyboard, changing the angles depending on what you're doing, and using the trackpad for moving the sliders when editing pictures or for just casually working with the iPad Pro on your lap, the Magic Keyboard is amazing. It'll certainly give you the feel of using a laptop. But if you ask me, would I ditch my laptop for this? I would say no. My iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard is not my laptop, it is still an iPad. That's because for someone like me who works as a software engineer where I use various coding tools like Xcode, Android Studio, Eclipse, or when I'm editing my YouTube videos using Final Cut Pro X or Premiere Pro, I will always reach out to my laptop, and that's not because of the Magic Keyboard, it is because of the iPad Pro itself. The iPad Pro still doesn't support high-end Pro applications that run on my laptop. The Magic Keyboard is certainly the best accessory that you can get for your iPad Pro. It totally changes your experience of using the iPad Pro, and it does take it a step closer to replacing a laptop with a full-size keyboard and a trackpad. Aside from the missing function row and the weight, if the price isn't an issue for you, I'll happily recommend the Magic Keyboard to anyone who wants an iPad Pro. You certainly won't be disappointed. Also guys, I do expect to see a significant wear and tear on this Magic Keyboard after you use it for an year or two, and that's because of the material used to make the Magic Keyboard. So just keep this in mind when you're purchasing the Magic Keyboard for your iPad Pro. So that's it guys, I hope this video helps you decide if the Magic Keyboard is right for you, and do let me know down in the comments what do you feel about the Magic Keyboard, and if you've already bought one, do let me know what was your experience using the Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro. All the links related to this video will be down in the description. Also guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And most importantly, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and peace.